Hello, friends, and welcome to our Aquarius pre-full moon meditation webinar. The actual full moon is in just about 24 hours. It is at 4:38 a.m. and 21 seconds. For those of you who like to observe the exact moment of the full moon. This is such an important sign for us, we realize, as the spiritual hierarchy of the planet is ruled, at this time at least, by the sign Aquarius, that great unity in diversity, the cooperation of all individually, as if they were one, and they are one in a deeper sense. And this is something that we, members of a new group of world servers, have to learn so that we can eventually take our place in that spiritual hierarchy and be empowered to more fully in the service and salvation of humanity. We have a few things here that are of interest. This is the banner for Aquarius, and as we see in the appropriate colors, it has Uranus as the exoteric ruler, Jupiter as the esoteric ruler, and the moon as the hierarchical ruler. And the moon will be veiling three important planets which are the true animators of our physical, emotional, and mental nature. Our theme, water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. The great internal and higher energies which are the true etheric animation of our lower three planes, and which come from the cosmic ethers, which present to us our spiritual objectives: the Buddhic plane, the Atmic plane, the Monetic plane, and finally the Logoic plane, the so-called cosmic ethers, over which, in a very large way, Uranus rules. We have here the Jofra illustration. These have been so widely distributed and are of great value. We see the water carrier holding the urn. It's kind of interesting, the word urn, you know, in English you can connect it with the word earn, which means to prove that you deserve something. And if we are to have access to the urn, we must earn it. These higher ethers are being poured out upon all of the lower energy systems. And they are nourishing the sevenfold nature of every being. Even the tiniest atom has a sevenfold nature in terms of its spirale. So our chakras and the different principles within our nature are being nourished by these waters of life, which are coming from the cosmic etheric planes and from sources even above that. If we are to be the world server, it is a burden, and we see it's a heavy pot. Not yet is the man standing as in the law of service with the urn upon his head, naturally and easily radiating forth the entire content of the head center. But he is with deliberation serving humanity, and it is, as the Tibetan reminds us, a burden. He says, we imagine that service is easy. It is not easy at all, and it demands the sacrifice, he tells us, of much interest and much time. Maybe those of us who have been servers to the full extent that we can realize this to be the case. Aquarius is an air sign, interestingly, but it is also associated with water and the regeneration of the waters. Water is really matter, so the regeneration of the lower three planes, or as in the labors of Hercules, the cleansing of the Augean stables, which are piled high with the filth of many ages, and they are cleansed by the great rivers, which are rivers in our own energy system, finally washing away all that prevents the clear flowing of the cosmic ethers and sources even above. We see here kind of a path, interestingly, through the skull, through the jaws of death, and it's a path to utopia in a way. You see in the distance here a shining city on the hill. It is the symbol perhaps of Shambhala or of hierarchy. They have both been portrayed as cities, and it glows with the radiation of the sun, who is seen here with an interesting look on his face. It reminds one of the old alchemical presentations. If we manage to pass through the jaws of death, and this is to transcend the limitations of Saturn and Capricorn, we are free of the karma which prevents us from entering this shining city on the hill. And it glows with the light of the benefics, of Jupiter, of Venus, of the solar light, and finally the Syrian light. So this sign of great spiritual, energetic nourishment is with us now, and humanity is going into this age and needs the proper expression of this energy as never before. Aquarius energy is universal, and it can bring even universal death through the wrong kind of radiation. About that we have to be very careful. But if we can unite all over the world as one serving being, we have the opportunity to offset the dangers which are imminent or present in our human and global situation. I have a feeling that the environmental issues will force humanity to come together for self-preservation, and we all know what the sign Aquarius can bring to the environmental movement and to the preservation of the energies and beauties of the earth in right proportion. These are things which will be the objectives of the Aquarian age. For now, we have about 100 years of transition into that age, the last transition, and we have to learn what it means to be truly Aquarian, regardless of what our astrological signs may be. Those factors matter only in a lesser extent. The true Aquarian can be of any sign and of any ray. I'd like to turn to Francis Donald's picture of Aquarius, and let's see if I can, hopefully this will work for me. It is, yes, on its way. He has 3 images this time, and actually we have a 4th from an earlier year, which is very, very beautiful. Let him, in his own words, describe these images. Let's do that. And we have here next. So in Aquarius, the man awakens to the beauty of group life, to group interest, and to his individual responsibility towards the group, and thus begins to live his life and to spend himself in the service of humanity. There's a great outpouring here. This is from DK's Esoteric Astrology, page 145. We have to learn to broadcast all of our energies for the benefit of the world in a decentralized manner, so that the divine rain can fall upon the just and the unjust, even as the solar Logos spends himself for the just and the unjust. All eventually will become the just. Imagine a group of people, says Francis, sitting around in a central figure. Their various facial expressions, physical types, ages, and clothing each give us insight into their personalities. Now, imagine that we can lift our vision from the denser subplanes and visualize the etheric realm. The scene shifts dramatically. The physical vehicles of our group grow dark, for here the light comes from a different source. Glowing, energetic matrices, vibrant with the color and quality of the group, overlay the dense physical form. So let's look at this with this etheric presence in mind. We see here, as Francis will say, the meditating master of the group, his inner circle, and the outer circle of those who attend to his words. With our inner eye now open, we see a master sitting at the center of his group of disciples. Those on the outer periphery are only faintly aware of his presence, but the initiates who sit in the circle immediately around the master know him well, for they have worked for incarnations to attune to his aura. This alignment, known as being close to the master's heart, these are the various stages of discipleship which lead us closer and closer to the center of the ashram, enables these initiates to consciously direct the energy of love wisdom that flows through their master, from the master of masters, the Christ. So let's look at this again. We see actually colors that are attuned to the sign Aquarius. We get the hint of turquoise, which is the Aquarian color DK gave. We get the violet of Uranus and the seventh ray. And then the next is a Pythian vessel. Take a good look at that. And here is what is being said by Francis. He says, well, first he begins with DK. Discover the serpent of illusion by the help of the serpent of wisdom, and then will the sleeping serpent mount upward to the place of meeting. Well, I think we have three serpents here, don't we? We have the wisdom of the soul. The serpent soul is the symbol of wisdom or of illusion. So the wisdom of the soul, we have the illusory nature of personality, and we have the serpentine kundalini mounting upward to the place of meeting from White Magic 208. This companion piece is a design for a water vessel, an Aquarian symbol. It depicts 7 serpents of wisdom united as one, and thus its number is 17. If we use occult numerology, this is the way of combining, that they may together dispense the waters of life. And the bottom view of this vessel reveals the sevenfold energy that forms the bond between the 7 great nagas. The word naga means serpent. So here is the bottom view of this, and the union of the 7 in one. And we always have that. I mean, there are the 7 spirits before the throne, both of our planetary logos, and then the logos himself, the 8th, and the 7 major planets before the throne of the solar logos being the 8th. 1 and 7 are 8. Okay, so the Pythian vessel. Pythian, it reminds one of the word python, is associated again with the serpent of wisdom. Okay. So the energy of path number 4, that this is one of the 4 paths that lead us out of the solar system altogether at the end of our journey here on Earth when we are taking the 6th initiation, reaches us from Sirius via the Sun. The hierarchies concerned with this specific type of cosmic force hide themselves under the numbers 14 and 7. These are very occult thoughts, but I just want to bring to our attention some information here that is in DK's table of creative hierarchies. And they hide themselves under the number 14 and 17. And here you see DK gives numbers for the hierarchies, whether you count up or down in the ray associated. And I think you can see that 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 11 is 17. So this great hierarchy on the cosmic astral plane, ruled by Aries, is perhaps one of the hierarchies involved. And then we go to the more familiar table of hierarchies, and we, interestingly, discover that man himself is the second of these hierarchies. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 4 is 17. Let's see, have I got this correct? No, yeah, is 17. So this, the number 14 and the number 17 are involved here. And of course, if we want to study that someday, we really will. Well, these both are 17s. I think we'll find one that's 14. I'll have to look more closely. Okay. Now, going on a little bit more, in Francis's description here, the Leonian knows himself as the point in the center, and the Sagittarian directs his focused attention along the radius of the circle. The enlightened Aquarian knows that though he is only one point within the circle, he is also the circle himself, a circle steadily growing through the ever-expanding inclusivity of love wisdom. And in our second ray method of integration, we are told, again I stand, a point within a circle, and yet myself. The second ray of love wisdom, which we always seek to contact at these times of the full moon, it's the ray of the esoteric planetary ruler of Aquarius, expressing itself in a breathtaking line of ascent, some of which are depicted in from the heart of the Master, and they are described thus by the Tibetans. So let us see this line of descent and see if, when we begin to align with it, we can feel this tremendous expansion. It starts from the disciple's heart center, then the heart center within the head, then the 12-fold egoic lotus, which until the fourth initiation is the heart center of monadic life. Then there is the Master at the center of his group, which is as a heart to the ashram, the Christ at the heart center of hierarchy, and the life of the monad, which begins to make itself felt at the third initiation, and the Lord of life himself, the heart center of Shambhala, and also the head center of Shambhala, interestingly. He is a great heart and the highest example, in a way, of the second ray, that is his soul nature. The line of relationship, says DK, then extends from these onward and outward and upward, spiritually considered, to the life at the very center of our Earth's alter ego, the planet Venus, again a planet deeply connected with the heart, to Jupiter, the esoteric ruler of Aquarius, which is, in a way, the heart of our solar system, and thence to the solar Lord himself, a great heart center in a cosmic logos, and on to a point in the sun, Sirius. These are profound thoughts. And what they do, yes, beautiful thoughts here. And you can read these later because you'll be able to see this on the diagram. You'll be able to see these on the webinar copy that we will send to you. Beautiful thoughts of the combining of great celestial energies for the upliftment of our solar system, all coming from the star Sirius, with which Jupiter is intimately associated, as is Venus. Jupiter in Aquarius, the Lord of love wisdom, instills into all forms the quality of love, which is the life demonstration of pure being. This Lord of love is the most potent of the seven rays, because he is on the same cosmic ray as the solar deity. He expresses himself primarily through the planet Jupiter, which is his body of manifestation, at least in our solar system. So Jupiter and the Sun are very much connected in different degrees, but both expressing a tremendous love wisdom, as does Sirius. Jupiter transmits divine energies from Virgo and Aquarius. Aquarius is the coming expression of the group consciousness, which is the first and immediate revelation of the ever-present Christ consciousness on a large scale in humanity. And this we sorely need, as we realize, in a divided and fractious world, blinded by illusion, glamour, and Maya. And finally, of Sirius, the energies coming from the sun, Sirius, are related to the love-wisdom aspect of the solar logos, to the soul of that great being. Indeed, the soul of our solar logos is on the second ray, as is his personality, and is, I suspect, the soul of Sirius. Well, perhaps even the monad of Sirius is more second ray. Maybe the soul of Sirius is more on the fifth ray. This cosmic soul energy is related to the hierarchy. You've been told that the Great White Lodge on Sirius finds its reflection and a mode of spiritual service and outlet in the great White Lodge of our planet, the hierarchy. Sometimes it's called the Blue Lodge as well, connecting with the second ray. So these are, I think this should give us a sense of the profoundly cosmic energies that are available to us at this time, which can be received in the group, and perhaps only by the group. So as we meditate shortly now, we will get the sense of this expanding picture and the life more abundant which comes to us from Shambhala, though nurtured by Aquarius. We are all looking for the wider life for all of humanity and for our planet as it becomes a sacred planet. So this wider life is promised, this life of abundance, the life more abundantly. And we can see why it will be that, with such extraordinary energies combining for the redemption, really, of our solar system, which is not yet a sacred solar system, we are told, but is very near and on its way, just as our Earth on the planetary level is very near and on its way being a sacred planet. Okay, well, that gives us plenty to think about in an introductory manner. And now we will turn to our meditation. We will begin that, and it will last perhaps about an hour, something like that. Okay. And I assume we are all in a quiet place and quiet within ourselves. We are in these days of preparation. First, these are days of detachment and renunciation of lesser things, of preoccupations in our mind which prevent us from receiving the building energies. The day of confidence, physical, aspiration, astral. We're still, yes, aspiration, and then dedication. We're still in that day in a way. A mental factor, dedication. We're doing that even now in this pre-full moon webinar. We are, in another 12 hours or so, will enter, in a way, the day of safeguarding. 12 hours before, 12 hours after. But we are coming together as a group in dedication. We will receive and hold the descending energies. They will intensify on the way to the full moon, a little less than about 24 hours from now, really. And then we will enter the important phase of distribution, where we register what has descended, where we are filled with a sense of expectancy and affirm in belief a final physical etheric impulse. Excuse me. A little water here. Appropriate for Aquarius, I think. So, we begin. And we withdraw our consciousness from the personality and its vehicles. We recognize them and we withdraw into a deeper presence. These vehicles are our instruments, but we are not identified with them or as them. We use them, we have them, and we come into a state which we will recognize as the soul in incarnation. This is still not perhaps the soul on its own plane, but we are the projection of that soul in the three lower worlds. But gradually, this begins to turn into or fade into the sense of being consciousness on the higher mental plane. Where we begin to sense ourselves not as personalities, but more as consciousness within the egoic lotus. And we can begin to touch each other in that way, which is a super personal way. And wherever we are in the world, we feel ourselves united in loving, attractive, lighted magnetism on the plane of soul. This is how we will learn to recognize each other, not as personalities, but as souls. And this will become vivid again, I guess, to us in that incarnational state when we return to the higher mental plane. But even now, through imagination, we can sense that the people we've been working with are really souls, and they have different characteristics. A great light, great love, and spiritual power. It is the group soul we are entering into, and we feel that through our many groups with whom we work. We embrace all the new group of world servers, stimulated so recently by our festival week of the new group of world servers which just occurred. The new group of world servers should be emerging in greater power under this stimulation, and we sense them as points of greater light and love across the world. And we embrace as well all the men and women of goodwill, in every country. And finally, all of humanity, all of humanity. One soul, one soul. Naught is but me, not the little personal me, the little self, but the greater me. In this sign, Aquarius, we can really identify as humanity. Every unit being really a part of ourselves, the one self, the one human self. Whether good, bad, or indifferent, eventually all spiritual. All part of this one self of humanity. And it is here that one soul, the one mind, the one being of humanity unite in this sign. Naught is but me. And we in our meditating group, in full cognizance of this larger identification, we particularly come together at a point of tension on the mental plane, a point of focus. And from this point of tension, we will be able to reach more deeply into the teaching of the other energies available now. This point of tension in which we all find ourselves focused is fed by the will aspect of the soul, the will to initiate of the first ray, the will to unify of the second ray, the will to evolve of the third ray, the will to harmonize of the fourth ray, the will to act of the fifth ray, the will to cause of the sixth ray, the will to express of the seventh ray. So we feel our focus together in group growing stronger under the impress of group soul will. Within the fire of mind, focused within the head's clear light, let the group stand. Universal mind comes through Aquarius and feeds our mental efforts as a group to establish a foundation from which the Antikarana can be reaffirmed, and that's what we do now. We gather all the energies of the group personality up into our point of mental tension. And we imagine together, each of us, the rainbow bridge, our own rainbow bridge, as it were, consisting of the two colors, or the two notes, or the two qualities of our soul and personality ray. We can use certain colors, there are many, but we can use red for the first, indigo for the second, green for the third, yellow for the fourth, orange for the fifth, silvery rose for the sixth, and violet for the seventh. We can see our soul and personality rays represented as dual colors, creating the bridge. We all have all the colors, of course, but these two are prominent at this point. So spend a moment seeing those colors for you and feeling their quality, their notes. And then see all the rainbow bridges that are being built in our group, comprising therefore all of the colors. And they can mount upward. To visualize them perhaps as a cone, with the colors becoming more and more radiant as they approach through the triad, finally anchoring in what we can symbolize as the blue-white diamond of the monad. together with our qualities mounting upward into the higher reaches of our nature. Or if you prefer to see us all in triangular relationships projecting these colors inward towards the center of a sphere, that too. We can be touched as a group, and we will project a line of vivid white light across the group Antakarana, using the second ray, word of power. Since the second ray is the soul ray of our planet and of our solar logos, we can use that as the inclusive divine ray. And we will say, in a group sentence, I see the greatest light. So we will sound the Om on the second ray note outwardly, while inwardly, as the soul in the group soul, we think, I see the greatest light. And as a group, we are open to that which can descend as we invoke it. The higher knowledge, the higher love, and the higher power. And the energies from extraplanetary sources that we will attempt to contact in a somewhat mediated way, but still contact. We are at least imaginatively receptive to this world in which the hierarchy focuses, the world of the spiritual triad. And we then can find ourselves closer to that center of focus, which is the hierarchy, with whom we are cooperating. Their presence is real. They begin to prepare for each full moon opportunity long before we do. And they intensify their meditation at these times. And so as a group, approaching as a group, identifying as a group, as is fitting in this group sign, Aquarius, we offer our salutations our solidarity with, our intention to cooperate with, our recognition of that quality of the energy, which is the hierarchy. Great energy. And through salutations, we express our solidarity. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to the Master Morya, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, the coming Christ of the age of Capricorn, the Master whose ashram is most intimately concerned with preparing for the reappearance of the Lord Maitreya. Salutations to the Master Jwal Kul, the messenger of the hierarchy, who has given us the blue books and so much of the work of theosophy. He who prepares aspirants for initiation. Salutations to your own Master as you know or conceive him to be. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And our solidarity is with that hierarchy as we work as souls within the group soul, receptive to the energies of the world in which they live. And now, imaginatively, we raise our thoughts to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility, we attempt, identified as a group soul, to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, standing at the very center of Shambhala, attunement. And may we be impressed with as much of the divine will as may be possible. With this impression in mind, we sound a long, silent interior Om, receiving, as a group, the impression of the divine will. The energies are assembled in Shambhala under the law of assembly at these important planetary events. Constellational, systemic planetary energies flow in. And these, as a sensitive and attuned group soul, we can receive in greater measure at this time. So we will begin to move towards the sources of these energies. We do this by conceiving ourselves as a group, as a point, a brilliant light of magnetic love and of spiritual power. We are not many, we are one. As if hovering above a golden path, we will follow that path, leading to the center of an indigo sphere, a central indigo sun. We are together as a point of light, love, and power, and as the golden path shortens, leading, being retracted into that central indigo sphere, we go with it. We go. And now find ourselves within the center, imaginatively, of the indigo sphere, in which higher sensitivities and understanding can be ours. We sense the presence of the Master DK, who is the expert, we are told, in all of these planetary, systemic, cosmic energies and the creative hierarchies that distribute them. We constitute ourselves at this time a group which can become an outpost of his consciousness. So that the group consciousness is suffused by his. And we can then open ourselves to the energies of the rulers of Aquarius, which will reach us in a mediated manner. We can raise our consciousness imaginatively towards Uranus, the exoteric ruler, conveying the capacity to reinvent and renovate the energy patterns through which we live and all humanity lives and expresses. We will approach Jupiter, the esoteric ruler, conveying the power to achieve spiritual growth and fulfillment through loving group cooperation. And we will approach, in a way, the moon, the hierarchical ruler, but really 3 planets instead: Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, which the moon veils. Vulcan representing a strong etheric physical body fit to be an instrument for soul expression. Neptune, suffusing the emotional body with the Buddhic principle of love and wisdom. And Uranus for the mind, transforming the mind as it is ordinarily used into occult mind. We will approach as a group, suffused by the supportive presence of the consciousness of Master DK, these sources. So first, Uranus. It's a somewhat turquoise planet, seeming to blend the blue and the green, but really a first-rate planet ultimately. We can see that glyph of Uranus before our eyes. Many of you know it. We can see it in violet, if we will, in the center of the group life. It is the home of electric fire. Those are DK's words, home of electric fire. The alchemical power of Uranus. It can transmute, transform, transfigure, and finally translate us into the cosmic ethers which it rules. It can lead to the reordering and vitalization of the lower worlds according to the pattern in the heavens, the archetypal pattern, which ultimately comes from the logoic plane, which Uranus also can be seen as ruling. As a group, we open to the ray of Uranus. We will change everything. in the new age and in our lives. And new patterns of living will unfold. And we will truly be alive. We will truly live. Because right now we are still in these lower Saturnian unprincipled worlds from the cosmic perspective. But Uranus can bring us life. Higher etheric livingness into our own etheric system, vibrancy, life. Livingness, a new pattern, a new order. We attune to this downflow, which can make every cell, every atom in our system vibrate to a new measure, which reflects the divine archetypes. We can come alive in Uranus. And shake off the old skins. The group needs this. We sense it coming into our group, into the servers, into the men and women of goodwill, into humanity, into the group. Where does the group, for instance, our esoteric groups, where do we need Uranus? What is the need in our groups that Uranus can fulfill? Can we awaken under Uranus? The awakener. Can new levels of vibrancy, of livingness characterize us? We shake off the heaviness, the tamasic vibration. Coming alive in being, coming alive in group life, living as a group. Let us visualize the violet inflow into our groups. I'll use a note associated with Uranus, the note B, a violet note. We'll sound the Om and visualize the increased livingness of our groups, which translates into a livingness eventually of all of humanity. The violet note B. May we, especially at this time, be carriers of the Uranian vibration. It is, of course, simply the orthodox ruler of Aquarius, but it's also the highest of the veiled rulers of Aquarius, and so is deeply hierarchically associated with this sign. Let us live in a new way. We turn our attention then as a group to Jupiter, the esoteric ruler of Aquarius. This magnificent planet, almost the sun itself, and most closely related to our solar god. The power of Jupiter. As we visualize the glyph, it looks something like a number 4. We can visualize it in indigo or in royal blue. The power of Jupiter to bestow the fullness of group consciousness and group love, enlarging and unfolding the group causal body, building and completing the realization of group soul. Jupiter, the conveyor of abundance, and in Aquarius of life more abundant. The rays of Jupiter, expanding the heart, the mind, the causal body, expanding the aura, helping us grow into each other so that we know ourselves as one, as more together. The flow of the consciousness of each to all in the group. One consciousness then, each enriching the totality of the entire consciousness of the group. Breathe in this blue ray, royal blue often, or indigo as we choose. And we know that we will grow under the law of group progress, expanding, taking in ever wider ring pass knots, making group consciousness a reality. The benevolence of the group, and we participating in that fully and ever more fully. And this energy will flow into our groups. Where do we need it? To expand the heart, the mind, the consciousness. Where do we need it? We can see the good effects as it flows in. We will use one of those colors of blue, and we will sound on a secondary note, which is a G. It may be the note our solar logos is sounding, the G, the true G when it is found. And we will feel ourselves pervaded by Jupiter. With all of its benevolence, its expansiveness, making us more than we ever thought we could be, and returning us to the true scope of spirit, for Jupiter rules the monadic plane. We sound bringing Jupiter into the group. And perhaps, as a group all over the world, we can approach our spheres of service together with what we can call spiritual largesse, greater largesse, powered by the group, each of us in our own place, bringing the second-ray Jupiterian vibration to all we touch so they can be more than they are and experience life more abundantly. What a civilization it will be, the Aquarian civilization, esoterically under Jupiter. So we are imbued. The electric fire, the transformative alchemical fire of Uranus, and with the spiritual largesse of Jupiter, then we move into a very practical sphere, which is that of the moon. Not the moon really, but as we know, Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, the physical, astral, and mental planets. Excuse me. These influences will lead us to change our entire personality nature, the transfiguration of the human personality of humanity. That's what the moon in Aquarius can represent, the transfiguration of the human personality. Vulcan, the radiance of the etheric and physical atoms. Neptune, the transcendent Buddhic love brought into the astral body. Uranus, the power of universal mind, bringing occult brilliance in the mental body. These can occur. Every aspect of our lower nature, thrilling, enlivened, strengthened, made sensitive, made brilliant, incisive. We attune. It's not really the moon. That's only a great veiling symbol. The Vulcan, the strengthener. Neptune, the sensitizer. Uranus, the electrifier. Feel it come into your vehicles. Feel the ray of Vulcan strengthening your physical etheric mechanism. Feel the transcendent ray of Neptune suffusing your astral vehicle with Buddhic, Christ-like love. Feel the electrifying occult power of Uranus stimulating your mind as it has never been stimulated before, so you can see occultly into the hidden worlds, And all this for the group, all this for the group. It happens in the group. So we can feel then these powers coming in. Sorry. We will use 3 notes. 1 for Vulcan, 1 for Neptune, 1 for Uranus. I will use presently the D for Vulcan, the A flat for Neptune, and the B again for Uranus. We sound 3 times the Om. We change, we transfigure, transmute, transform, transfigure, translate the energies of our group personality and every individual personality. First, Vulcan, the strengthener. Then Neptune, the sensitizer. And then Uranus, the electrifier. The thrill of these energies entering the group personality. And so imbued with Uranus, with Jupiter, with Vulcan, with Neptune, we can feel ourselves as a group changing entirely. Responding positively to energies to which we do not normally respond. We move our consciousness towards the solar logos, symbolized by the great sun which brings life to all these planets. Imagine the sun. The physical nature of the solar logos, at least part of it. The great God of love, wisdom. The great second ray God, the heart of the cosmic logos, imbuing every cell, every atom of every being in this solar system. And we feel it flowing in. The sun, eventually the sun at midnight, the sun of initiation. The great blue ray, the love wisdom ray, the indigo ray, the divine ray. On the note G, we will sound and we will envision this flowing into all beings, into our groups, and into all of humanity. The solar ray. until eventually we become sons of the sun, as it is called, true initiates, true children of the solar orb, taking our first solar initiation and going on from there. And Earth itself will become a son of the sun as a sacred planet. All these energies we absorb and we rise still further. Now, towards this vast constellation Aquarius, the water carrier, that is specifically our focus now. This has a very beautiful form of light. Let us visualize this. Aquarius, the light that shines on Earth, across the sea. It's almost as if it's from the cosmic astral plane, and the entire cosmic physical plane is Earth. This light, this is the light which ever shines within the dark, and cleansing with its healing rays that which must be purified until the dark has gone. How much we need this now, cleansing with its healing rays that which must be purified until the dark is gone. And we open ourselves now as a group, in cooperation with many groups across the world, all as one group, to feel the energy quality of Aquarius, bringing in, under its sense of universality, really all the rays and all the planets, the universal sign Aquarius, but its profound relationship to the luminous fifth ray, helping us understand in a way we have not, the divine mind, universal mind, and universal love in Aquarius. How interesting. Universal love, dissolving all these barriers, making sure the flow can occur. And so we all know the mantra. We all know the mantra, which will be so important during this 2,000-year age of Aquarius, and during a 25,000-year age of Aquarius, almost beginning. And as a group mind, under the impression of the triad and even what we can of the spirit, we open ourselves, pondering via the group Antakarana, water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. Water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. Water of life. water of universality, universal life. Am I the disciple, the group, eventually humanity? Pour it forth for the thirsty human family, and ecologically for all of the planet. Emptying the bowl, giving all. To those who give all shall be given, so that they may give again. All that we have, we give. The opportunity to give is now very great. Water of life, are we? Am I? Pour it forth for thirsty men. The saving group. The new group of world servers in cooperation with hierarchy, giving wisely, lovingly, intelligently, powerfully. All they have, all it has. In in cooperation with hierarchy, we give all we have. Our gifts of Uranus, of Jupiter, of Vulcan, of Neptune, water of life am I. Poured forth for thirsty men. Let us imagine a great giving emerging from the group, and we will sound the violet note, the Aquarian note, let us call it, as we imagine this giving, this blessing of the world. The energy will only intensify now over the next 23 hours or so. Let us participate in this intensification as a group, keeping the point of tension. The flow from the one about whom naught may be said, that great center, the Pleiades as a vehicle. And through the constellation Aquarius, through the sun, the solar logos, and to his system, but especially Uranus and Jupiter and Vulcan and Neptune. And to the earth under the law of assembly in Shambhala, and into every monad, and into every soul. And into the groups and the personalities and all the chakras. Water of life am I. The water of life descends, and we feel it. And we are more alive, and more willing, and more able to radiate that which is descending as the water of life, so that we may feed the thirsty with living, liquid, divine energy that can transform everything. Let's stay in that. And be imbued by that. And when we distribute it over the next 3 days from the time of the moon, we distribute because we are that. We are that. Water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. And humanity needs this. Let us think. Think of the world. Think of the world situation. Think of where the waters of life are needed. Particularly, think of where the human beings are the most thirsty and the most distressed. And feeling the group imbued with these energies, visualize those places, those situations. Maybe choose one imagine the energies of Aquarius flowing in as the waters of life and changing everything through the presence of life more abundant. So that all may have what they truly need, and the unnecessary conflicts may cease, and union may come. We will use the second ray note, and we will direct the Aquarian energies into that place of difficulty that you have conceived, and watch the transformation. 3 ohms we will use. We carry this living energy like the water carrier, the water bearer, and we distribute it by what we are, and what we think, and what we will, and we love. So with that in mind, and all of our alignments intact as a group, in contact with these, in cooperation with hierarchy, suffused by Master DK's understanding of these many energies and their benevolent cooperation, we sound together the great invocation, invoking, distributing, giving our little share, what we can receive and give to humanity at this time when universal life is knocking at the door of human consciousness. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From from the center which we call the race of men. Let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we have now, what do we have here? Well, we have exactly 23 hours before the full moon. So it's going to be at 4:38:21 Greenwich Mean Time. So let us work together over this period, keeping the group continuity, keeping that sense of all of us together, working with hierarchy, with all the affiliated groups, really impressing this Aquarian energy at a time when it is really, really necessary, the positive side of it. So thank you, everybody, and we will send out this webinar recording as soon as we can. And if you need to use it for any purpose, you are free to use it. The link will be given. So, it's morning here. Well, it's in Finland, and it's still dark. But good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And we'll be working with you at the time of the full moon, bearing the Aquarian group, the World Aquarian group, in mind. Okay. Ciao. Bye-bye.